Hey guys, Colby here. Welcome back to another raid video. We have news of a rebalancing update coming in through for Raid Shadow Legends. It's kind of funny, guys. I was looking at the champions we have in the game, and I was looking at the frequency of updates that Plarium has been pushing out, and it's very bad. It's very bad. It's about 2 champions every single month that they're changing. On patch 8.3, which was launched early March, we had a rebalancing they've done for Little Miss Annie and Supreme Aethel and Siegfried. Okay, it was 3 champions. To be fair, it was 3 champions, but I think that was the patch after a long while where they changed some champions. So that was early March. Then we had early April. So I think it was the 2nd or 3rd of April where they did another rebalancing for Queen Eva and Minaya. Okay, another 2 champions added into the rebalancing. So what is coming next? Well, you guessed it, 2 champions are getting rebalanced. It's kind of a problem if you think about it. So the rebalancing being every single month, every single patch that they do, they change a couple of champions that they think are underwhelming compared to their equivalent. So if they're changing a void champion, they're trying to make it be equal to the power of another void champion. I would imagine that's how they're thinking about it. So this is what they have in mind this time around. So patch 8.3, 8.4, they changed something. 8.5, they're going to change something more. Plus add probably a few more champions into the champion pool. That's how they got us used to it. It's going to be probably the patch coming in with the Vault Keeper Wixiel. Okay, we all know that this guy is coming in May. So I'm guessing the patch with the changes will also be coming around probably, let me check the calendar, around probably the 9th of the month. I expect the big patch to come, because this week I'm guessing everybody at Plarium is away for holidays because it's the Orthodox Easter. Anyway, the point is, what are the changes coming in through this time around? Well, it's 2 champions. They're changing Claydna, a Sylvan Watcher's useless champion. When I did my first playtest ever for her, I literally put the thumbnail with her in a trash bin. Okay, that's how bad she is at the moment, with a small chance to apply a sleep. With the changes coming through, they're changing this to 100% chance when you fully book her out. When you fully book her out, this becomes 100% chance. For a void, I would say this needed to be also unresistible, just to be equal to what CV has. Both are void champions, Plarium. Both are void champions. Not one mythical and the other is void. Both are void champions. And then this skill, Lost in the Woods, will be changing as well. So Lost in the Woods as her skill will also be gaining a restoring of 100% of each ally's destroyed max health. So that will add to her utility, I guess, for overall situations. I would say also for the Hydra, but also for the Sandal who are getting hit quite a lot. This will help out a little bit. And then we have the A3 also changing a little bit with the block debuffs and a revive on death on all allies being applied. So it also will have a cleanse in addition to that. So cleanse, then a block debuffs and a revive on death. So she's becoming a little bit better, I would say. In terms of overall usefulness, I can't really see me ever using her, but somebody who gets her will, of course, yes, be able to use her on the Sand Devil for a team there that applies sleep. It's not a guaranteed sleep, so you still need to pick up accuracy. You still need to pick up a lot of speed with that, in addition to get it to work, to make it work for Sand Devil. So it's not an easy thing to do. And her passive will now also work for well, it's gonna work for allies, not for her. So specifically, it's gonna say for allies on the first hit of an attack, there's gonna be a chance for them to ignore incoming damage, to completely block it. So she becomes, instead of trash, she becomes a little bit better. In terms of void champions, I would say in the trash category, we still have a few champions that I want to consider trash, at least. Let me just think about it very quickly. Which voids would I consider trash? Jingwon's okay. Jinro is okay. Definitely lower than her now. Actually, now with the changes, Claydna becomes a little bit better than them. And then we have Blind Seer is okay. Tramaria needs a little bit of love. I will admit that. And Fatal is the Blade Master. He's a Blade Master, so I doubt he's gonna get fixed, because there's no chance for players to get him in any way. anymore, so I don't think they're gonna bother changing him because it's not gonna get them any money, like putting him in a 15x. That would have been a way to make money, but they cannot do that because they're contractually obligated to not offer those champions again. I would say Angar, although I think he was part of a rebalancing patch in the past, he's okay. Everything else, I'm just trying to look at the voids right now and see who's gonna get changed. Also, Togron is gonna get changed because he's bugged at the moment, forcing players to get billions of damage. No, helping players get billions of damage. Ursuga is still okay, although I'm gonna say she could use a little bit of love. Vicious is okay. And then we have who else would use a buff? I don't know. Raglan, maybe. She's very underwhelming for a void support. Very OG, just has a cleanse. And then this one is a small cooldown revive, but that's pretty much her skill set. So I would feel like she needs maybe something else, maybe another passive coming through her kit. Anyway, the final champion of the rebalance is gonna be the one and only Hoorn Smash Lord. I made a video of this guy in the past, guys, showcasing his nuking ability with this skill, like here, the blood offering. They're changing this finally, so it's gonna be able to crit. But the way that they've given us the text, guys, today, it indicates basically that they're gonna change the whole skill. So instead of a 0.5 multiplier, I will imagine it's gonna have a 0.25 multiplier, like many of the usual nukers. This guy will not be a nuker / support. So I cannot imagine them keeping a 0.5 multiplier on this skill and then also having it crit and also not sacrificing his HP. So that's the change that's gonna happen. But specifically what the text that is gonna be changing for this champion they've given us is that it does an attack to all enemies, and basically this skill can crit now, and also provide a shield buff to all allies based on the value of damage dealt. So I would love for this skill to have a big multiplier, so the shield is big enough. Ideally, this would have been something that goes along the lines of Hoorn's HP. So let's say 20% of his health, if he's got 100,000 health, that's 20,000 shield. If it's 20% of damage dealt, if you do a 100,000 hit, that can be a 20,000 shield, but it's gonna be difficult to do a 100,000 hit. Okay, I'm guessing though it's gonna be like other champions that do damage, similarly to Hoorn. So the shield could be very useful for things such as let's say the spider, to help you survive there. On how, giving you an example on how Miscreated Monster works. You don't have the stun here, but at least you'll have a big shield to protect yourself. The cleanse also gets a reduced cooldown to 3 turns. So that's pretty cool. Getting this to be where it should be, with the block debuffs as well being a 2-turn duration, makes him a little bit more useful in many situations. Overall, it's an okay change for him, but I would have loved if this was like a high multiplier. I didn't care about the HP sacrifice. I didn't care about the fact that you might even kill yourself. I hated the fact that this was limited to a normal hit. And if you compare this guy to other HP nukers, guys, I'll give you an example. If you compare him to other voids, they have a 0.26 multiplier. I'm giving you guys Taras as an example, but Taras has the huge advantage of, first, he's void, so no weak hits, and the second thing is he can also boost his damage by 15% for each buff on allies, plus a ton of other things that this skill does. So it's not strictly a damaging skill. So you can imagine if they do like this multiplier on it, it's gonna be very bad. Narcissus, another void nuker, can ignore defense with his A2 skill, 0.28 multiplier. The skill can double hit, and then also the skill ignores passives, so it's very strong against things like Taras and Duchess. Okay, this is pretty cool as a skill. So of course these two are the top void legendary nukers, so I couldn't really compare those. I'm comparing another void, which is Fatalis, who has a big AoE also that is average with a 0.26 multiplier. It's an AoE attack that ignores defense if the attack is critical and can decrease the target's defense. And this is like gets an average rating by the HH side, where they do breakdowns of the damage that it can deal. So getting an average rating means if Hoorn change to a similar multiplier, 0.26. He's going to be of average rating for his damaging skill, which kind of makes no sense to me. At least though, it's going to be giving some shield to all the allies. So maybe that's the selling point there. Fighting against multiple enemies is going to give you a big shield to protect your team. And then maybe also give him some usefulness for the Hydra. So that could be the way that they're thinking of making Hoorn useful. Myself, I don't really use Hoorn. I do use him only for his utility on the cleanse. I think I have multiple copies of the dude. I've got 4 copies of the dude. I could have +4'd him, but he's that useless that the +4 here I would ideally use to maybe get something out of the token store, which hasn't been changed since it was introduced. But I would have done that, and it's pretty easy to get this guy to 100,000 health, by the way. So giving him a good multiplier will equal to a good amount of damage dealt, but you'll need other stats such as crit rate and crit damage to make it even better in terms of overall damage dealt. So it all depends on the multiplier, and if they change something else to his kit, although I don't think they will. Given the wording, as I said again, it's just going to be an attack that gives you a shield, very similar to what my boy here, Sir Nick, has. Very, very similar, where the value of the shield is equal to 30% of the damage dealt. It's basically this. It's basically this skill. So it's going to be a 2-turn duration shield on a 3-turn cooldown skill, I'm imagining. So it's basically this skill. They just copy this and put it on Hoorn with a 20% damage dealt shield instead of a 30% that Sir Nick has. If we compare my boy, where is Miscreated Monster, right? Miscreated Monster has, what does he have in terms of damage dealt? Places a shield for 3 turns, 3-turn cooldown, 25% of the damage inflicted. So they could have done same duration as the cooldown with the 20% and it wouldn't hurt them that much. Now that I think about it, you're comparing a legendary to an epic that can be used. Because of this, you can use this guy on the Doom Tower rotation for fighting the Scarab boss, okay? And protect yourself. But maybe they didn't think of that. So guys, this was the video on the things coming to the game. We're probably gonna have a big patch coming through in addition to this. So we're gonna have the Fusion Champion, these 2 rebalancing, and probably more things to come, maybe getting us ready for the summer. So make sure you're saving up your resources, guys. I am definitely not been saving those, unfortunately. I'm trying to push for the Marius missions. I'm almost on the 3rd and final part of the 60 missions, so I would love to get this guy to test him out and showcase him when I can. But until then, this was the video, guys. Thank you all, and I will see you in the next one. See ya.